Before I talk about the Valve lawsuit, I want to talk a little about Epic Game Store. I always disliked the Epic Game Store more than other stores, but I also liked what they are doing. More exactly, creating competition. What I dislike the most is when Tim Sweeney, the founder of Epic Games, said, Epic Games will win the battle for best digital storefront based on its relationship with developers, not with customers. Customers already have the best experience they are going to have using those kinds of platforms, so having a better selection of games will be more important for drawing new customers. He's basically saying that we don't care about the gamers. If he can make most of the developers use his platform, his game store, then why would you care what the gamers want? Because if the gamers want to buy the game that they love, they will have to use their store, no matter if they like it or not. I would be okay with that if we got better discounts, and they tried to give us, but the gaming companies didn't like that. I don't care why, I just didn't get my discount. So all we get from all of this is being forced to use a bad launcher. Sure, things are not that bad now, but Epic Games will be like any other company. If they will become number one, they will use that power to make more money and give less to the players. Let's remember that even Steam used to give us a lot of free games, or at least they let us try them for the weekend. From what I saw, they still do that from time to time, but it's very rare. Anyway, Epic Games takes 12% revenue cuts from a game sale instead of 40% like Steam or Apple does. And from what I know, PlayStation, Nintendo, Xbox, Windows, they all take 40% or close to 40%. Sure, I understand that, but most of the money don't go to the developers, go to the gaming company. Mainly to the investors, to the directors, to the CEO, to people in charge. The development team never gets the same amount of money. Most of the time you will never see a difference. When a gaming company does very good, the CEO and the people in charge get a lot of money. When the company does bad, they fire the people in development. But I agree that this revenue cut is awesome for the smaller gaming companies. Anyway, even Steam does a small discount for the smaller gaming companies. But stuff like this is never because they care about the smaller companies. They just try to make more developers use their platform. And like I said, I'm okay with giving developers better options, better deals. But for example, I tried to get Football Manager when it was free on Epic Games. Guess what? It didn't work. For over 1 hour, I tried to go on their store and buy the game, or whatever, get it for free, and adding it to my library. You can say, well, a lot of people wanted the game, so that's why it was impossible for you to access the game page and add it to your library. For real? If the store already offers us the best experience and that experience is that you can't even add the game to your own library, why would I want to use their store? Also, what does having a better selection of games mean? I bet that means you want to refuse games that have anime TDs. Because I bet you don't make sure the games meet some standards. Not even consoles don't make sure games are stable, because I had a lot of crashes and issues on consoles with a lot of different games. And I'm pretty sure the Epic Games Store care less about stuff like that. So I was curious, what does having a better selection of games mean? So I tried to find what awesome games Epic Games Store has. And I found a game named Sludge Life. And I'm sure I will find people who say, oh, that's a great game, you just don't understand it. It's... I don't know, people will always find a motive to like a shitty game. The game is garbage, I prefer watching a loading screen than going back and playing that game. So I still don't know what better selection of games means. I mean, sure, the developers need a better relationship with their stores and better discounts for selling their games on those stores, but I also need my I need to get better discounts and a better store? For example, I want to delete Sludge Life from my library or at least hide it. I can't. I only can sort my games by recent or alphabetical, and in filters I have all and installed. That's pretty useless. I guess not even Epic Games Store expects people to buy games on their store. The more I use the Epic Games Store, the more issues I find. I just entered settings and I saw something about Epic Online Service install available. I tried to install it and see maybe I will finally get some interesting features, but I just got an error. Tim Sweeney said that we already have the best experience back in 2019. Well, it's 2021 and I still see a lot of issues with their store and launcher. But I can say one very good and very important thing coming from Epic Games Store. They create competition. Microsoft already said that they will give the developers 88% of the revenue, so it's a good start. This is competition. And we finally reached the main story. The big dog, Valve, Steam. I don't like the Epic Games Store, but don't you find it strange that Steam has so much power and no competition? Overgrowth developer from Wolfire Games filed an antitrust lawsuit against Valve, alleging that it uses Steam's dominating position in the digital gaming market to extract an extraordinarily high cut from nearly every sale that passes through its store. One of the main complaints of Rosen's lawsuit is that Valve prevents other storefronts from competing on price by making developers promise not to sell their Steam games at a lower price on other stores. Rosen said that he ran into that issue when he decided to release Overgrowth at a lower price on other storefronts in order to take advantage of their lower commission rates. He says, "When I asked Valve about this plan, they replied that they would remove Overgrowth from Steam if I allowed it to be sold at a lower price anywhere, even from my own website without Steam keys and without Steam DRM. Rosen also said that while talking to other developers about problems that they were having with Steam, they kept referring to it as a monopoly and said that there was nothing that we can do. I wondered, has anyone actually checked if Valve is obeying antitrust laws?" Rosen said most developers will earn the bulk of their PC game sales through Steam, but added that the inability to experience with lower prices on other stores makes it impossible to determine whether Steam's higher rate of commission 40% compared to 12% on Epic and Microsoft is actually justified. Before I give my opinion about all of this, apparently again in 2019, Tim Sweeney said, "Steam has veto power over prices, so if a multi-store developer wishes to sell their game for a lower price on the Epic Games Store than Steam, then Valve can simply say no. Pricing disparity would likely anger Steam users, leading to review bombing, etc." See, this kind of manipulation from Tim Sweeney, this is what I don't like about him. And this is why I hate his store. First of all, I'm not sure how much harm review bombing can do. But when I saw people review bombing some game, it wasn't because it was cheaper on other stores. Any real PC gamer would want better pricing. We didn't get a better price when the game goes to the Epic Games Store. You usually just get an exclusive deal. I mean, you still get the same price, the developer gets a better offer, but all we get is being forced to use the Epic Games Store and nothing more. All the games launched on the Epic Games Store were the same price as the Steam Store, as the GOG Store, and whatever. Sure, the Epic Games Store tried to make a discount in the past, but I don't know what happened, why the developers didn't like that, and they didn't do that anymore. So people didn't review bomb because you have a better price on your store. They review bombed because they made the game exclusive only for your store, and we didn't get anything in return, excepting the fact that we were forced to use a low budget storefront and a low quality launcher. So why did I talk so much about the Epic Games Store? It's simple. It looks like Epic Games Store wants to be the new number one and Steam to go second place or something like that. And I expect much more shady things to come out of Epic Games. They own the Unreal Engine, so they have even more power over the developers. So back to Steam. If Steam does this kind of shady stuff, it's affecting competition a lot. Let's say your game with all the DLC is $100 on Steam, and Steam gets 40% of your sales, but other stores ask you for 12%. Because of that, maybe you want to give a bigger discount to the players when you sell your game on the other stores. Steam should never be able to stop you from doing that, and they should never have the right to ban your game from Steam because of something like that. This is very greedy and should never be allowed. So if stuff like this is true, things should change fast. Steam is number one. Steam has the most users. I mostly use Steam and GOG. Not because I love Steam, but because that's where I found most of the games that I love. I think most of the people are like that. They don't really care that much about the platform, they want the games. PlayStation was my number one platform because that's where I found most of my games. And in the past, I think PlayStation was the only console that I can find in stores. My point is that I don't care about Steam, I don't care about PlayStation, I don't care about Nintendo, I don't care about Xbox. I only care about the games that I enjoy. There's not much you can say about this lawsuit. We still need more developers that have balls to come out and say if it's true or not. It's really strange that Steam doesn't really have competition, but the main reasons I use Steam is because of the good reviews that the users can make, the filters that can help me find the games that I want, and the fact that most of the games that I want I can only find on Steam. What I hate about other platforms, for example PlayStation, Nintendo, Epic Games Store, is the fact that they don't show reviews. And when they show reviews, it's usually from gaming journalists and I don't trust them. Most of them have no idea how to make a review or how to play a game. But user reviews are made by users for other users. The more reviews I get, the better. Almost all the time I get useful information from a review. For example, how to avoid a bug in a game, or how to fix a bug, or if an update fixed some issues or didn't. Many times the only useful information I can find, it was on Steam. And like I said, I trust the reviews on Steam because it shows how many hours that player played the game. And you have to have the game if you want to make a review. The Epic Games Store doesn't want that, because they don't care about the consumer. Because they know if they can make the developer release their game on their platform, the user will be forced to accept that. So I didn't talk a lot about the Valve Steam lawsuit because it's just the beginning. I want more developers to say something. There's a lot of different developers on Steam, so it should be full of issues like this. I'm sure more stuff will come out, so we just have to wait. I'm okay with using whatever platform, whatever console. What I care about is that I get the games that I love at the right price and uncensored. Before I end the video, I don't understand why the gaming companies don't sell their games from their website. At first I thought that it was illegal or something like that, but apparently it's not. You can do that. You don't need Steam or Epic Games to sell your game. So if game developers really care about censorship, or about the injustice that they face from the gaming stores, why don't they try to sell their game on their own? I know it's not that simple, but if the gaming stores have so much power over the developers, it should not be something hard to do if they want more freedom. This doesn't mean the gaming stores can do whatever they want. They should still respect the law, they should still respect developers and consumers.